This is Maricopa Newslaw.
Students from Scottsdale Community College's DJ program took the stage at the Cinco de Mayo Festival in downtown Phoenix. They were joined by dance students and legendary rapper Candyman, who teaches an MC and rap class at the college.
Ooh, boy, I love you so. Keep it going. Once I get my hands on you, keep it going, keep it going.
Scottsdale Community College is the first accredited college to offer a certificate of completion in DJ techniques. For more information about the program, visit this address.
This is Maricopa Newslaw. Estrella Mountain Community College's new fire academy trains future firefighters needed in the Southwest Valley. The college partnered with the Avondale and Goodyear Fire Departments to provide firefighter training and certification. During the week, classes are on campus, and on Saturdays, students train at the Avondale Goodyear Fire Training Facility. For more information about the Fire Academy, call 623-935-8446 or visit estrellamountain.edu.
Welcome to Spirit of the Arts. Today, we're going to learn about the art form of building a sculpture. I'm your host, Andrea Zakcheski. Sculpture has been around for centuries. Artists such as Edgar Degas and Renoir's work can still be seen in major museums around the world. Today, artist and Scottsdale Community College professor Ted Uran continues this tradition. He's an award-winning sculptor whose work has been exhibited in museums, galleries, and universities across the country. Ted Uran is unlocking his childhood dreams and translating them into the medium of sculpture.
And then we know exactly how much metal we need to melt to fill those molds.
Ted didn't come from an artistic upbringing, but always had a yearning to create.
All those childhood dreams where you would pick up a stick and imagine it to be something else. You don't have to imagine that anymore. You can actually physically make what you're imagining.
That vision to create compelled him to get his degree in sculpture and has landed him many exhibition opportunities and an opportunity to be an instructor at Scottsdale Community College. He has instilled this same childhood wonderment to his students.
It is an avenue to express an inner life that sometimes you can't find words for, but in the process of making something.
I just wanted something fun. I don't know, I wanted to do a polar bear. She's doing push-ups. She's doing push-ups on all fours.
PJ went from being a masseuse to deciding she would like to work with clay and do sculpture. These students learn to let go and remember what it was like to be a kid. Ted helps them to develop their own style. The sculpture technique they are learning is called the lost wax process, which is a process that has been used for centuries to create sculpture.
You make a form out of wax, and then you make a mold around that and melt or lose the wax from that mold, leaving a hollow cavity or a negative space that you can then pour molten metal into.
Ted says that anyone can learn how to make a sculpture regardless of your background.
Even the people who say, I can't sculpt, I can't draw a stick figure, okay, we can work with you. I promise you, you can. It's mostly about getting students to remember what they were capable of when they were children.
Makes it fun, makes it understandable. You get to learn things that you never thought you would learn.
Ted likes to encourage his students to expose their art to the community to build their reputation.
I encourage students to exhibit their work in both on campus and in different competitions that are throughout the region.
Ted also encourages his students to exhibit in downtown Phoenix for First Fridays.
That has been really a really good avenue for students to get their foot in the door with galleries that are less commercial, and get out there, start showing, don't hide it in your closet.
Selling sculpture as a fine artist can be lucrative.
I've sold work up to about $5,000, I'd say, and nothing much more than that. Although I've got pieces that have more like a $14,000 or $15,000 price tag on them.
When pricing one's sculpture, the cost of the materials and the time involved add to the overall value.
You're going to have sort of a juggling act between, what you can afford to do and what you want to do. Not all sculptures have to be made out of bronze.
At Scottsdale Community College, the students can cast in iron, bronze, and metal. Ted has been invited to demonstrate the iron pour around the world. Ted teaches his students to find their own voice and style.
The style of an artist it's as unique as a fingerprint or handwriting, or to where you could give 10 people the same assignment, the same set of limitations, the same materials to work with, and they'll come up with 10 complete, you could even dictate what the subject matter was going to be, and they would all look uniquely different.
Ted continues to create his own sculptures and inspires his students to continue the long tradition of sculpture and preserve their childhood dreams forever. For more information about sculpture classes offered at Scottsdale Community College, go to scottsdalecc.edu. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Spirit of the Arts. I'm Andrea Zakshesky.
Mesa Community College student Heather Thomas was one of 48 students selected for the National Community College Aerospace Program. Thomas traveled to NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. She worked with other students developing a prototype vehicle to roam Mars.
It was very fast-paced, and we accomplished a lot in the short period of time that we were there, but it was definitely an experience of a lifetime.
Thomas's career goals include future internships and eventually a career at NASA.
Today we're going to make some pizza dough. I'm going to start with just a small bowl here for the biga. Add the water, bread flour, and just a pinch of yeast. And when I say a pinch of yeast, basically just take a knife, just about your knife tip, and sprinkle that in. So that I'm just going to start working it in while it's in the bowl. And I'm at the point now where I have a dough. It's important to get all the flour rehydrated in this process. I still have some dry particles here. So I'm really going to work this pre-ferment on the table. Nice smooth dough now. I'll take a plastic container, spray it. Just going to round out that dough. Place it into the container, coat the top with oil, and then flip it over. Cap that off, and I'm going to set it in a fairly cool place in your house, and we're going to let that go for 24 hours. So now we come to the actual dough mixing stage. I'm going to start by adding the water to the biga. And so this is our flavor profile for this dough. It's really going to make a difference in the final product. Next thing I'm going to do is add yeast, bread flour, and salt. We're going to place this on the mixer and mix it on speed 1 for 10 minutes. Okay, so our dough has rested for 15 minutes. It's time to portion it out now. So I'm just going to take that dough and begin to pull it towards me. I'm just going to start to round it out. Then I'm going to cup my hands over the dough and just give it a twist. Place this into the pan that I just sprayed. Just like with the biga, I'm going to flip this over the top side first and then back over. And that's going to, again, prevent this dough from drying out. So I'll cover this very tightly with saran wrap. That'll go into your refrigerator for approximately 24 hours. So here is our dough that has fermented overnight. At home, you want to get your oven as hot as you can. If you have a baking stone at home, a ceramic baking stone, that is ideal for this because that'll give you the nice crust. I'm going to start by dusting the bench, placing the dough, coating both sides. And start rolling it out. And I can just begin to start stretching it with my hand. So my hand is in almost like a claw shape, putting that underneath the pizza dough. And I'm more concentrated on the outside edge of the dough to get an even thickness. So you want to be careful not to tear holes in the center. People have a tendency to want to stretch from the center and out. Remember, it's the outside edge is where you're going to be working from. Now it's time to get ready to load these in the oven. I'm going to dress that board with a little bit of cornmeal. Lay that pizza on. And we'll do a traditional pepperoni, everybody's fan favorite. And we'll also do something a little out of the ordinary with some pesto and feta cheese. Make sure that cheese goes pretty close to the edge. Our oven is nice and hot, and I'm going to go ahead and load this onto the stone. That's going to take anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, depending on the temperature of your oven, to bake. But we want to make sure that we get a nice crispy crust, nice dark color to the cheese, and you'll have a good end product. Here's a slightly different version for a topping on a pizza. Place the pizza shell on. And here I have some basil pesto. You can either make this yourself, you can find a recipe online, or you can do like I do and just buy it. I'm gonna put some fresh plum tomato on the edges. So this is a good vegetarian alternative. Got some feta cheese. And we're ready to go into the oven. You can notice that we have a nice bubbly crust on the edges. It's thin and crispy. And even on the bottom, due to that high heat from the ceramic stone, we have a nice crispy pizza dough. And here we have our basil, pesto, feta, and tomato pizza.
Chef's Menu is brought to you by the Culinary Studies program at Estrella Mountain Community College. For today's recipe, please visit this address.